Hello and welcome to Knit Cheek. My name is Natalie and I am the cheek behind Knit Cheek, and today is episode 14 of my knitting podcast. In today's episode, I'm going to be talking all about my finished object, which is the Book Club Cardigan. You may notice I'm filming on a new camera, which is incentivizing me to make this video shorter because I just don't know what I'm doing and I'm scared. I'm like really scared. I don't know. Everything about this is making me nervous and anxious, but we are going to try. But look how nice this is though. I have my phone with me. I finished this November 22nd. And I was kind of on a deadline. I was trying to finish this before the Socal Fiber Fair so that I could wear it. I had like a little bit of the sleeves, the button band, blocking the buttons, the pockets, like, I don't know, maybe 6 days, I think, before the Fiber Fair, and so I pushed myself to finish it. I did get to wear it. You can watch my video. I filmed a video all about my experience and all the things that I purchased, all the goodies that I got from the Fiber Fair, so I will link that down below. This is the Book Club Cardigan, and it is a pattern written by Sari Nordlund, and I knit this up in Quince and Co Lark in the color Gingerbread. I have always wanted to knit a cabled cardigan, and I even made a YouTube video like roundup of cabled cardigans that I had my eye on, and I ended up choosing this one, and I was incentivized because there was a knit along, and I started the knit along late and I did not finish with everyone else, but it still got me going to commit to knit this. And I have to say that I'm so glad I did. I love this cardigan and I loved knitting it as well. Like, it was a process and a product knit for me. How long did this take? This sweater took me 149 days to knit. That was from June 26th to November 22nd. I went on a 2-week vacation to Greece and didn't end up taking this sweater with me, and that was the only time I wasn't actively knitting on it. I'm not a monogamous knitter anymore. And so I always have projects on the go that are different from my main project, is what I would call this. So sometimes I would put this down when I come to a point that I wanted to procrastinate, like picking up the sleeves or doing the button band, you know. So I wasn't monogamous. I do think I could knit this faster, but I'm fine with how long that it took me to knit. I don't know how many months that is. June, July, August, September, October, November. So 6 months to knit a cardigan. But it's a pretty, I mean, it's not like a pullover stockinette sweater, you know. It did take some, I don't want to say skill. It took effort to knit this, right? The yarn is Quince and Co Lark in the color Gingerbread. It is 100% American wool, grown, spun, and dyed in the USA. It is a worsted weight, 134 yards or 123 meters per 50 grams skein. And I purchased a total of 11 skeins. Originally I purchased 9 and knew that I was not going to have enough because there was some chatter in the knit along thread that people were running out of yarn, and I was calculating how much I would need for the sleeves and the button band, and I didn't think I would have enough. So I ordered 2 more skeins for a total of 11 skeins of this yarn. That put me at a total of 1,474 yards with 550 grams total. When I was finished, and I had the little ball, but I think I put it away, I had 12 grams of yarn left. That's not a lot of yarn. It's very little. It's about 32 yards. So I definitely had the perfect amount, like not buying too little or buying too much to finish this cardigan, besides like having to purchase more. So I won yarn chicken, if you would allow me to say so. The size that I knit is kind of a combination, or I like to call it a Frankenstein size. So I think I was between a size 2 and 3. It's pretty normal for me. I'm usually between 2 or 3, or a small and a medium. I have a bust circumference of like 35.5, a little bit above that, so usually just round up to 36 inches. So I knit a size 3, except for where you join underneath the armholes. I ended up joining for the size 5. And that wasn't intentional, that was just how it worked out. You had to join the front and the back on the same row of the cabling chart. And by the time I was there, I was at a size 5, which is fine because I think if I would have joined any sooner, it would have been too small. It's probably due to row gauge, but I'm not 100%. I then ended up picking up for a size 7 for the sleeves because size 5 pickup kind of looked bunched and it just didn't look good, and it felt like I was really stretching my pickup stitches. Like I didn't feel like I was picking enough stitches up. So I knit a couple inches and then ended up ripping that out and then picked up for a size 7. The bust size for the size 3 was supposed to be 45¼ inches. Mine ended up being 43 inches. If you were to go by what the pattern says for yardage, I should have only needed 1,160 yards. To remind you, I bought or used a total of 1,440 yards. So that's a good 300 extra yards. But when you read the pattern, she designed it for a sport weight held with a lace weight, so a sport and a mohair, to equal a worsted weight yarn. And when you substitute a worsted weight yarn, my technique is usually, this is what I've been told, is you just go by the base yarn, like the thicker yarn for yardage. And I don't know if I will go by that again because I feel like that may have not been correct and it definitely wasn't foolproof. So I will always be aware and always be ordering extra yarn. I think that's just a good idea in general. I'm someone who likes to buy the perfect amount of yarn. Like, I don't want to have leftovers, but it's just not worth, especially with this, the dye lot for the second time I had to purchase it was really hard to find. And if I was not here on YouTube, I honestly would never have been able to find it. I had a friend, another podcaster, reach out to me, tell me where they had this color in the dye lot that I needed because she was also looking for a different dye lot. As far as the process of knitting this, I really did enjoy knitting this. I loved the cabling and reading a chart and having something that was super engaging. I never thought of this as a chore or hated the process of knitting it, which is good to know that I like cables. I just like knitting them. I like reading a chart and I like knitting cables. So 10 out of 10 for the process. Some of the things I didn't like were the button band, but I'll get to that. And knitting sleeves is never really, anybody's favorite, but I don't know, maybe somebody loves knitting sleeves. I was able to knit in the round for the sleeves for a little bit until I decreased and then I got a little too fitted. But overall, I really enjoyed knitting this. I did cable without a cable needle, which I feel like only enhanced the process of knitting this. And the yarn was perfect for that. I didn't have any problems cabling without a cable needle. So after I knit the body and one sleeve, I was worried that the sleeve was too fitted. And I knew that the sweater was also small, I expected it to grow. I knew that the body would grow because the body is such a bigger circumference, but I was worried that the sleeve wouldn't grow enough to fit right. I just didn't have a lot of confidence in that process. I haven't knit a lot of sweaters and I haven't, blocked a lot of sweaters. I didn't want to do a pre-check or fit check blocking, but I'm so glad I did because I was about to redo the sleeves. And now the sleeves are fitted, but look, I can move my arm around in there and they fit fine. I'm not sure if I still think they're too fitted. I definitely have room. But I like this piece with the fitted sleeves. I don't know. I'm sure that I'll want to knit cardigans in the future that I can throw on top of things, and this just is not the piece for that, and that's okay. I think having multiple uses or different items in your wardrobe for different things is fine, and this works great in Southern California to throw over a dress or throw over a t-shirt and jeans. Or if I go up to the mountains and it's cold, I can put a coat over this and this could be a layering piece, but it doesn't necessarily need to fit over a long sleeve shirt. And also I honestly, I had 13 grams of yarn left. I don't think that I could have made these sleeves any looser, significantly, I probably could, but that would be kind of hard to figure out. I do think that I may have knit the sleeves a little bit too short, and that was a difficult process because I knit them too long and then ripped them out and knit them short. But I don't know if they would have been fine the first time I knit them, but I just didn't know because I wasn't wearing them. Like, this felt perfect until I started wearing them, and then I realized like it's more of like a bracelet length. I don't know if that's necessarily a bad thing, and I don't think I will know until I wear it and I figure out what I like. This is only like my third garment that I've made, and it's the only one that I have made that I liked. So I can actually wear this and figure out like what are the things that I like in a sweater. Andrea Mowry talks a lot about like your magic numbers and like knowing what you like and what you like in the fit. And for me, I just don't know those things because I haven't got enough wear out of anything. So I think this will be the first sweater that I wear a lot, and I'll maybe know like, hey, I like the sleeves this length or I don't like the sleeves this length. With the 13 grams of leftover yarn that I do have, I think I could probably add at least a ½ inch, maybe an inch of ribbing if I decide that they're too short. So that'll be a somewhat easy fix besides picking out the bind off, but it's not like the end of the world. And it's something I definitely see myself doing if I decide that I want that fit. I think in general, that is a good lesson to learn, and it's just like cropping this for me, I ended up cropping this shorter than the pattern recommended just by trying it on, but I also don't know like necessarily where the perfect length of a sweater would be for me. I think I'm pretty on it with this one, but it'll be great to wear it and like be 100% certain, and then when I go to knit another sweater, know what length works for me. Okay, let's talk about the button band. I love the way that this button band turned out. It is gorgeous. It is so store-bought looking to me. I don't think I'll ever go back to knitting a ribbed button band, but it was a lot of work, a lot of knitting, and it was unenjoyable for me. That was the only part of the sweater that I really didn't enjoy knitting. And it's like back and forth knitting, and you're knitting kind of like 2 rows per 1 row, so it takes forever. One night I sat down when I was trying to get this done, and I knit from like the V point of it to the end. So that, like, I would say a little bit more than a third of it took 4 hours. So this button band took roughly around 12 hours for me to knit, which is crazy. And like my hands were cramping, and I didn't enjoy the process, but I love the way that it looks. I picked up every stitch like the pattern called for, except for the cast on edge and the back to about here. I picked up fewer stitches. I picked up 2 for every 3 stitches so that when I put it on that it wouldn't lift, because I saw in the thread of the knit along that somebody who had knit it said once they blocked it, it had like lifted because there were so many stitches there. I don't know if that made a difference, but I don't have that problem, so I'm assuming that it did. The V-neck for me was, it's too high. So this was originally supposed to have 4 buttons, and you may notice I only have 3 buttons, and I actually have a secret buttonhole here with no button because I originally put the button and it's buttoned here. And I just didn't like the look of that, so I was like, well, I'll just button 3, but then that looked kind of silly just having a button here, so I took the button off. The V-neck where it actually ends is even higher, but I knew that I wouldn't like it that high, so I did it at low, and it was still too high. For me and my taste, I just didn't like the look of this. I'm sure some people might like that, but for me, I like just the 3 buttons and having this open at the top. That is definitely the way the pattern was written, though. If you look at her project, her V-neck is very high. The pockets were interesting, totally easy, totally doable. I did wish that the pockets would fit my phone in them, and they don't. They're a little bit too shallow. I haven't blocked them, but I don't think that I'm going to get much more space out of there. I wish that I would have done them a little bit higher, but I'm not sure if that would have looked weird or not. But I guess I just need to accept that with my body and my short torso, like the pockets would have, because they're like narrower, I think they would have looked weird if I would have lifted them up. I think they look really cute, and I could put like a chapstick in there and other things, you know, smaller things, not my phone. My phone is also heavy. So yes, I love knitting this, and I love the end product, and I'm super excited to wear it. I feel like it matches the colors. I love the color. I love the fit. I love the design, and I love adding it to an outfit, but I definitely would not knit it again. And that's not because I didn't love anything about it. I don't really see a need to have more than one of this exact sweater. And I think it's a little bit too intensive a project to take on for a gift knit. So I don't ever see myself knitting this again, but I do see myself knitting more cabled sweaters and more Sari Nordland patterns for sure. That is kind of all that I really have to say about this sweater. I'm not gonna go into anything else really. I'll show you the socks that I'm knitting, but I wanna keep this episode short and I really don't have much else going on. I am doing the Andrea Mowry's Oxbow Cal challenge and trying to knit a pair of socks over the Thanksgiving weekend. And yesterday was Thanksgiving and I cast on my first sock and I got through the heel, the gusset decreases. There's my sock. Today I need to get through the foot and the toe. That way Saturday and Sunday I can knit the second sock with kind of like roughly the same timeline. I am knitting this in C chain, and this is a sock yarn that I picked up at the Socal Fiber Fair. This is a non-superwash wool, 80% wool and 20% silk, so I'm really excited to see how this wears because I would love to find an alternative to superwash socks. I love this color. I'm not usually a tonal grandma, but I really love the way that the tonal looks on a textured pattern. So this looks amazing to me. It's really cute and I love how like the shortiness of it. She did call for like a twisted tubular cast on, or just a tubular cast on, and I chose not to do it because I didn't want to like stress myself out on Thanksgiving because I had a turkey to make. I did host Thanksgiving at my mother's house, but I did most of the cooking and I was still able to pump out half of the sock. Actually, I'm struggling more today to get work done on the sock than I did yesterday for some reason. I don't really know why. Other than that, my November socks, I'm on the second sock, and my barber shawl, I haven't made too much progress. I am hoping to cast on the sweater 18 next week for my birthday cast on. I have a lot of acquisitions, but I talked all about them in great detail in my last video, which was my Socal Fiber Fair like haul and review. So if you want to see all the goodies I got from there, you can check that video out. But other than that, this is my first time filming on Mr. Cheek's camera. So I'm a little nervous and I want to keep this video short so that I don't have too much to work with. So I will end this video here. You can add me if you want to be friends. I am Knit Cheek on Instagram and Ravelry and TikTok. And I am Book Cheek on Goodreads if you want to check out what I'm reading. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye!